The Old Man and the Gun stars Robert Redford, Sissy Spacek and Casey Affleck, and is directed by David Lowery, and is based on the true story of Forrest Tucker and his escape from San Quentin, which led to a series of heists thereafter. It's a cat and mouse story with John Hunt as the detective who is hot on his trail. Now, David Lowery is certainly one of the next generation of filmmakers that I'm starting to find pretty interesting, and I guess you could say he's got a pretty unique voice when it comes to making films. And his last film, A Ghost Story, would certainly be a reflection of that. And in that film, we had pretty much a slow burner and a very highly original screenplay that really explored some different sides and different angles to similar stories that we've witnessed before in other movies. And in that film, we had, it was definitely a slow burner, and you know, the editing was pretty patient in that film as well, which is definitely not for everybody. But I enjoyed that film, and I guess you could say The Old Man and the Gun would be a direct opposite to that. And what we have here is a pretty tight screenplay, and it really goes to show that David Lowery is not just a one-note filmmaker. He definitely has a lot of range within his work. Now, this film has been billed as Robert Redford's final acting gig, and he mentioned this in a film festival that he wanted his last acting gig to end on a fun role. And he has since flipped his position on retirement shortly after, so it will be interesting to see whether he does grace the big screen in any future roles. Now, to say Robert Redford is a legendary performer and a great actor is really stating the obvious here. He's one of the last great screen legends, and here playing Forrest Tucker, he's very well cast, and he easily finds the charm and the playful side to the character. Sissy Spacek is also great here as Jewel, and she's the independent woman. She's been on her own for some time, and she really finds that right lane with her performance with the character. She does a great job. And so Forrest and Jewel on screen together, they do have a lot of chemistry as they're two characters that have been around the block a few times. Now, while some scenes don't always land with Lowery's intent and what he's going for, I did really enjoy seeing these two on screen. I think they do have great chemistry, and there is a lot of sparks that immediately fly in their first encounter. And Casey Affleck once again brings a really interesting performance here as Detective John Hunt, who is just approaching 40. He's slightly depressed. He doesn't really have a lot of direction in his life, and when he gets an opportunity to go after Forrest Tucker, he really jumps at the opportunity to do so. Lowery is all about homage in this film, so if you are a Robert Redford fan, you will definitely enjoy the many references to some of his earlier films. So there really is that really cool homage element coming in, but as well as that too, from a technical aspect, it does feel like a film that could have been released in the early 80s. We have a swing score that's littered throughout the soundtrack, which I really did enjoy. There's a graininess to the picture quality of a lot of these shots, slow zooms, and we also have some fast pans during the montages that really take us back to that particular period. So there is an element of movie magic coming in from a technical aspect as much as it is coming in from the performances of its wonderful cast. Some scenes unfortunately don't quite click here, and some of the dialogue spoken by some of the characters feels a little bit aimless and doesn't quite drive the point home that I think Lowery is intending for some of these scenes. But I gotta say, the message still comes through. The heart and the intent of the film is still in place, and I think that's what's most important here. That a man finds real joy when he remains true to himself, even if what he does is possibly morally questionable. It is a fun film, and if this is Robert Redford's final acting gig, I think this is a pretty good swan song to go out on. Definitely take your mum and dad to see this on a Sunday afternoon.
Hey, excuse me. Need some help?
No, I'm good.
Let me take a look.
You know anything about cars?
No, not really.
So guys, what did you think of Old Man and the Gun? Let me know in the comments below what you thought of it, and while you're there, don't forget to flick a like and subscribe and hit that little notification bell if you dug this review. And until next time guys, remember, a weekend watching movies is a weekend well spent. Thanks for watching. The Old Man and the Gun, starring Robert Redford, Sissy Spacek and Kissy?